evening and welcome to the Redefining Beauty Wednesday Conversations. My name is Kamo Magabane, and tonight I've got a wonderful guest who is a life coach and a sexual health promoter. Her name is Tatenda Makayi. I'm especially looking forward to this conversation because we're going to talk about hormone imbalances. We're going to talk about how that affects us as women. We are, all going to talk about how to take care of our wombs and how that is important. I really cannot wait to have this conversation because it is an important one. Health is wealth, and that is what I believe. I'm just gonna wait for her to join in and we can kick off this conversation. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Good evening, and welcome to the Redefining Beauty Wednesday Conversations. I'm just waiting for my amazing guest, and we're gonna kick off this conversation. Tonight's topic is about wellness, more specifically, sexual health and hormone wellness. Hi, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join. I'm just waiting for my guest. I haven't seen her name pop up in the list, so I'm just going to give it a few more minutes. If you've got any questions, please let me know. You can pop them in our question box, or you can pop them in the comment box and we can tackle them. We're going to be talking about a lot of things, including PCOS, including taking care of your womb. We're going to be talking about some of the work that she does and the retreats that she does. Hormone wellness is something that I've not really encountered people speaking about a lot, and it's one of the things that affects us greatly as women, but we're not engaging as much in those conversations. Tatenda, please send me a request. I'm not seeing your request. Okay, there we go. And we're going to kick off this conversation. Good evening, everybody. Just waiting for it to cue her in. And we can do this. Comments, questions, feedback is very much appreciated. So please send. Even after the conversation, you can send the questions. And let's have this conversation because this is not a one-time 45-minute kind of conversation. We need to be talking at length about it. Tatenda, please accept. It's saying it's waiting for you to accept on your side. Please ensure that you are joining with your phone and not a laptop or an iPad. It will not accept you if you join through those devices. It requires that you join with and it's giving me a notification Tatenda, it's saying you will need the latest version of Instagram. So it means you are either joining with it means you are either joining with a laptop, or you've got a very old version of Instagram, or you're joining it with a website version, and it requires a mobile app. Thanks to me. Oh, you too kind, Kaz. Wellness for women, I say absolutely agree. For Thank you for sharing this conversation. You most welcome. I mean, in Sesotho or in Setswana, we say "Tsibokele Sedi." So when we know better, we do better, and we navigate differently in this world. I mean, we always focus on the external so much. We focus on outside beauty, and the very things that kill us are inward, you know. And if we're talking about the womb, that's the center of who we are as women. That's what makes us women. We need to be talking about it. Entle, talking about taking care of our womb. Would yoni pearls be regarded as good for our body, and are they good for fibroids as well? We will ask her. I will ask her that question. Please remember to pop it into the question box. Let's ask her. But for as far as I know, and my own research, medical doctors do not prescribe or do not advocate for yoni pearls or even yoni steaming for health related things. But some people have had testimonies and all of that. So we will hear what she has to say, because she is certified in this field. She is not only is she a life coach, she is a sexual health expert, and there's a lot of things that she recommends and she does in her training. Yeah. Please don't forget your question. Oh, there we go.
Finally!
Fantastic. Hi. Good evening.
Hi. Technology just wasn't being my friend today.
I'm not hearing you. Your sound is bad. So you're going to need to hold the phone in such a way that you're not blocking the speaker or the microphone of the phone, so that you are very audible. In the meantime, find a way of holding your phone or positioning yourself, and sort of clearing your lens so that people are able to see you perfectly. I think that's the one. Anyway, good evening, everybody. My name is Kamo Magabane, and if you're new to this platform, thank you for joining us. And for all those that are coming back, welcome back. Thank you for your time and for joining us every Wednesday. This is the Redefining Beauty movement. My name is Kamo Magabane. Every Wednesday, I host these conversations just to talk about different things. Today, I'm joined by Tatenda Makayi, who is the founder of two wonderful companies. The first one being Perfect Symphony, and the other one being Sokomnandi. She is a life coach, and she is a sexual health promoter. She's going to tell us more about that, and we're going to talk about it. I especially wanted to have this conversation because we don't engage as much when it comes to everything related to our wombs, taking care of our wombs, and understanding hormone wellness, hormone health, and all conversations related to that. So yeah, good evening, my lady. How are you doing this evening?
I am great, thank you. I'm so sorry. Today, technology is just not my friend today. But
No,
we're
don't
here
worry
now.
about it. Um, let's kick it off. I'm gonna need you to speak a bit louder because I myself cannot hear you clearly. So I'm imagining that my guests, the people joining, won't hear you. So hold the phone such that you're not blocking your sound. Let's kick it off. Let's start with introductions. Let's tell me about who you are. Who is Tatenda or Tate, and what work do you do? Just briefly before we get into the heart of the conversation.
Sure, my name is Tatenda Makayi, and I am, as you've heard, a life coach as well as a sexual health wellness promoter. certified as well. And I help women that are struggling with their hormones, causing them to have things like sleepless nights, low libido, fatigue, hair thinning, hair loss, irregular periods, basically everything that goes with hormonal imbalances. And I help women to tackle these things naturally, because I am a firm believer that what you eat can either heal you or kill you. Um, so I help you through natural methods, through diet and lifestyle changes. And then on the sexual wellness end of side, um, oh, it's not audible. Can you hear me now?
We will get to that here. You see, Vui Swangwenya is saying you are not audible. Even from
Is it,
my side, it is audible, but not the greatest. Do you not have a headset like me?
I
Because
think
this is
I'll
why
have
I
to use
use.
my headset. Oh, let me just grab my headset.
Okay. Whilst I wait for Tatenda to do that, for everyone that's joined and is not familiar with the platform, my name is Kamo Magabane. This is Redefining Beauty. Redefining Beauty is a movement for women. We are pro women, but we are not anti men. We love women and we are for women empowerment. So the platform is just a wonderful uh, organization where we have conversations around self-love, body positivity, health. And so every Wednesday I engage in conversations with different women because there's a lot more to us than just external beauty. So these conversations are held every Wednesday at 7 p.m. To cover different topics and to hear from different women. I myself, as a woman, enjoy speaking to other women, and I believe that we can share information through light conversations on a Wednesday evening. As I said, my guest is Tatenda. She's a life coach and a sexual health promoter, and she's going to be talking more and more about that. She's just briefly introduced herself, but she's gonna do it again after my second, after answering my question, my opening question. This question I ask every single guest that comes here because beauty is at the center of our organization. I mean, we are called Redefining Beauty. So what is Tatenda's definition to beauty?
Beauty for me is someone that is at peace with themselves, somebody that is not afraid to be audacious, someone that is courageous, someone that shows strength in times of adversity and grace through times of adversity.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. I love that. You know, I ask this question to every single person, and it's all amazing how we define beauty differently, and that's such a wonderful thing. Fantastic. So now that you are audible, take us through what you do. Explain what you do with your two companies being Perfect Symphony and Sokomnandi, and then we'll get to the nitty gritty now on terms of hormone health, and we will take it from there. But because you were not audible, kindly introduce yourself again.
Okay, so again, my name is Tate, and I am a life coach as well as a sexual health and wellness promoter. I help women that are struggling with hormonal imbalances. So if you're having things like sleepless nights, irregular periods, low libido, hair thinning, hair loss, fatigue, insomnia, brain fog. There's a lot of things that is
Mm,
involved with having, with struggling with hormonal imbalances, and it's always swept under the rug as things like, oh, she's having mood swings. Oh, it's hormonal. It's okay. It's fine, and we just sweep it under the rug. But it's not. It's not okay. And it's things that can be fixed. And it's not supposed to be deemed as normal because, as for us to thrive and live a beautiful, fulfilled life, having nagging little things like that, they affect your quality of life. So I help women to overcome that using natural methods. And my
mm.
methods are simple and achievable. as well as affordable. So you're fully in control. I just give you the guidance. I don't tell you what to do. I just give you the guidance for you to pick and choose what works best for you. And it is mainly lifestyle changes as well as working through your diet. Because I'm a firm believer that, and science has proved this, that you can either by what you eat, by the food that you consume, you're either killing yourself slowly or you're healing yourself. And
That's
food
true.
really can heal you.
That's true. That's very true.
So what we normally do is to help women. The best way that I found to help women is through what I like to call fun education. That is learning while having fun. So we
Okay.
host things like workshops,
Before you get
retreats.
to that, don't rush into. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I need for us to get through definitions first, before we get to
Mm-hmm.
prescriptions and what you actually do. Talk to me about what is
Mm.
hormone imbalance. What is it, and how does one see that they have a hormonal imbalance?
So a hormonal imbalance is when your hormone, because with for women there are eight major hormones that work in a symphony, if you like to call it
Mm,
that. They work in a symphony, and once something is out of symphony, once something is playing off key, it affects everything else. So let's say
mm-hmm,
estrogen. Estrogen is the hormone that defines. I call it the ultra feminine hormone. It defines your
mm-hmm,
femininity. It's what it's basically the hormone that shows our femininity in terms of our curves, our breasts, our skin, and our hair, nails, and things like that. It's a hormone that is responsible for that. Now, if that is dominant, you will find
mm,
certain things like you are quite busty, or you carry your weight mostly around your hips. So that
mm-hmm,
means that your estrogen levels are higher. And then if you have things like testosterone, despite what most people think that it's a male hormone, women actually have it, and that's a
mm,
sex hormone. But too much is not always great for that, because if you have too much of it, that's when you find some ladies have unwanted hair, like they start
mm,
growing like hair under the chin or sometimes on the chest and things like that, and back knee. That is a sign of high testosterone. And also
okay.
it promotes things like aggression. You find that maybe you're a bit more aggressive because, again, it's an androgen, which is a male dominant hormone. So if your hormones are not in check and not in balance, you start noticing things like irregular periods. If your
Mm,
progesterone is too low or too high, that affects your sleep, it affects your rest, it affects, things like that. So when those eight hormones are not working in sync, it creates a whole lot of problems. You find that your libido is affected because you
mm,
don't have enough of the sex hormones being produced. You find that you have low energy because your testosterone is too low. You
mm,
find that maybe you have these cravings. That's because another hormone is not in tune.
mm,
You find that maybe with things like ovulation and all things like that, each hormone is responsible for that. Especially things like cortisol. If there's a problem with your cortisol, you're more prone to things like anxiety and
mm,
depression and mood, because your cortisol is like your fight or flight hormone. And
mm,
it's like a stress hormone. So things like that, if your hormones are not in balance, all these things start to happen. You start to notice that you can't sleep. You're not sleeping well at night. You find that you're gaining a lot of weight and you just don't understand why. You
mm-hmm,
find that maybe you're losing a lot of weight and you don't understand why. So it can
mm-hmm.
go either way. So your balance have to stay in check in order for you to be able to live a balanced life.
Wow, you see, I love this. Well, I don't think we have the time to go through each and every hormone, but I love
Mhm.
the sort of descriptions that you've given. So far, you've spoken about weight, you've spoken about acne, you've spoken about anxiety. What other things can we look out for that would tell us that, hold on, you're experiencing hormonal imbalance?
The biggest one is irregular periods. when your periods are just all over the place. That means that for me, that was my trigger, how I discovered um, that's how I discovered that I had a hormonal imbalance. It was because my period disappeared for 6 months. And I
Whoa.
thought, oh
Okay.
my word. Yeah. And this is in my 20s. And I'm
Okay.
thinking, whoa, something is wrong here. And because of that, because I'm not going through what is supposed to happen monthly, it set off everything else.
I
My
can
skin
imagine.
went crazy, emotions. So in order for you to notice that something is wrong, it's the fact that you sleepless nights, irregular periods, your skin as well. You start noticing things like breakouts. You start noticing like things like back knee. You start noticing things like low sex drive or an increased sex drive, actually. That's
Interesting.
also a
Interesting.
sign that, okay, something has changed.
Right. Yeah.
Something has changed. So those are usually the key things that you notice. But for most women, it is the irregular periods that are a big trigger, and just not being able to sleep at night, having good quality sleep. And you're thinking, what is wrong with me? And also emotional imbalances. You can't get a grip of your emotions. You're feeling erratic. Some people get diagnosed with bipolar when really it is just a chemical imbalance as a result of your hormones not being in check. And you'd find that even when you're diagnosed as somebody that is going through depression, one of the things that they will give you are hormone supplements, because
Nice.
things are just not in
Interesting.
balance.
Interesting. Yeah, that is very interesting. I don't want to miss a question by Vui,
Uh-huh.
because it's in line with what we are already talking about. She's asking, can stress induce hormonal imbalance?
Yes, yes, it can. Yes, it can. If you're not sleeping well, ladies, I'm guilty of this, and I also stress it to anyone that I meet, that you need to get good quality sleep, because if you're stressed, you're not sleeping well, and if you're not sleeping well, your cortisol, which is your stress hormone, is triggered, and it goes in defense mode, and it offsets everything else, which creates a domino effect.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, I didn't. Okay, Dales 3.0 is saying wealth of information, and she's speaking about hair fall. You sort of said that. So
Mm-hmm.
talk to me about when your services. Let's move into how you help women. Do you do consultations? Do you do group sessions? How do you help women understand sexual health, wellness, or even hormone wellness?
When it comes to helping women, what we do is there are various options that we can help, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to reach as many people as I can. We have master classes that we hold, and that is done through a private Facebook group. Where you can join in. We have things like a 5-day hormone reset challenge. So for 5 days, you get to experience how the program works. And then from there, if you want to continue, you can go into the 21-day hormone detox before you're able to go into a 12-month hormone repair. Because if your hormones are not in check and they're imbalanced, it doesn't happen overnight. 5 days is not going to be enough. A month is not going to be enough. But it's something that you have to get used to, like understanding your body and knowing exactly what is going on, and noticing when my pee is off. I need to drink more water. Or you notice that this month, my period was really painful. There's something that I must have done. And then you're able to go back and check what you were eating, your exercise, your routine. Have you been taking the right supplements? Or maybe you notice that, my period was really heavy and extra dark this month. Something is a bit off. So you get to know and understand your own body through the
Yeah,
program.
yeah.
So you can either do that if you're not able to come to our retreats, because we will be hosting retreats in Joburg as well as in Cape Town, because I'm based in Cape Town, where you get all the information. So by the time you leave, you know exactly what to do. And then we do monthly checkup sessions through the private Facebook groups. or you can have a one-on-one with me if you're not able, again, to attend our retreats. Our one-on-one sessions are where you have direct access to me and we go through the journey together. But group sessions are always more affordable because one-on-one is quite expensive. So I encourage people to come into the group sessions, which is also through a VIP group, or come for the retreat, which is also a group session. And the retreats are luxurious and fun and beautiful. You get to really reset and recharge. And by the time you leave, you're so refreshed. I mean, the venues that we have are absolutely amazing and perfect it's a luxury wellness retreat. It's time to
Nice one.
get away from
Yeah, yeah,
kids
yeah.
and family and just focus on yourself.
I get that, and I love that. Everyone that knows me knows that I'm a fan of self-love and self-care.
Yes.
That is why this movement exists. I'm a very big fan of that. But you've spoken about, for now, retreats and all of those things. They require finances and all of those other things. I want us to give people information and wisdom enough to start doing the right things from tomorrow morning. So when it comes to the Facebook group, do you charge for people to be part of that so that they can get this information?
The Facebook group, what you can do is to join our 5-day research challenge. And the next one is coming up at the end of April.
Okay.
So you join in, and that is free of charge. If you want to proceed to the 21-day challenge, that will be a separate group entirely. And of course, for that, there will be a charge. And that is for everyone that participates in the 21 challenge. That is 497 Rand.
Okay. All right.
So with that, you will have all the meal plans, you'll have the recipes, you'll have the information of how you're able to go through this.
Okay. Let me go through. Kudzi was saying, I struggle with emotions. It's not even funny. I find myself crying and can't really explain why exactly I will be feeling teary. Is that another sign of hormonal imbalance?
Yes, that is another sign of hormonal imbalance, because you find that you can't get a grip of your emotions. That is because what depression is, and I learned this through the hard way. Depression and anxiety is a chemical imbalance, and it has a lot to do with the food that we're eating. The food that we're eating, we're thinking we're eating healthy, but some of this food is already induced with other hormones. So it's kind of like a catch-22.
Right.
And that is why you find a lot of our young girls are blooming very quickly. They're getting the hips, they're getting the bust, they're developing very quickly because of the foods that we're eating. Obesity right now is a huge thing because of the food that we're eating, and it is because it is hormone induced. So once you're able to understand what you're eating and the necessary things that you need to balance your hormones, you'll find that, your emotions and your moods, they start to mellow out, and you have a better grip on that.
Nice one. I love that. I want us to hone in on that a little bit. You've already spoken about girls, but what are give me some of the foods that we should be avoiding or being watchful over, especially for kids. I know there's friends of mine who've got daughters, and even for ourselves. What are some of the 3 or 5 food items we need to be watchful over?
We need to be watchful over the oils that we're having. I
Oils?
recommend things like coconut oil. I recommend things like coconut oil or olive oil, the extra virgin oil. And also the fruits. Fruits are very key. But if you're able to get things that are as close to earth as possible, that are close to organic as possible, that will be really great. Or just washing your fruits, taking extra time to wash your fruits to get off the chemicals that are on our fruits, because also the chemicals that are on there can also create an imbalance. And things that you can be having in terms of oils, healthy fats are things like eating oily fish, things like salmon, trout, that sort of thing. Those are really great for you as well. And also avocado is really good. I know
Okay.
avocado is quite pricey, but just incorporating that into your diet. It doesn't have to be daily, but whenever you can. Things like mushrooms are great for you, and especially even with as an aphrodisiac, having a lot of mushrooms as well actually works
Okay.
as an aphrodisiac. Your
Cool.
protein, if you're able to have lean protein, things like beef is also great. That also works again as an aphrodisiac as well. And contrary to what people believe, things like red wine in moderation is actually quite good for you as well.
What must we stay away from? Give me 2 top things that women must stay away from.
Reduce coffee. It's okay to have
I'm
one
guilty.
or
Ooh.
two cups, one or two, because coffee sets off your your stress hormone.
Oh,
Like
really?
for a person like me, I start getting really anxious from coffee, or any sort of caffeine. I get really anxious. So your caffeine intake, reduce your caffeine intake,
Sure.
and sugar. And I am guilty of this, but I have to keep trying to work against this, and that is reduce your sugar. Sugar is an endocrine disruptor, and your endocrine really needs to stay in check.
Right?
So yes, caffeine
Okay.
and sugar, those are
Okay.
your enemies.
Got it.
If you're
Got
gonna have
it.
chocolate, have dark chocolate. That's good for
Okay.
you.
Got
Dark
it.
chocolate
Got
is
it.
good for you. Everything else that is processed sugars, stay away from it as much as you can. But funny
Got
enough,
it.
everything that we eat has sugar.
Yeah, I've heard that natural sugars are always better, but we can definitely
Yes.
reduce as much as possible. I want to get through the questions so that we don't miss out on some of the things that the ladies are asking. Baki Mekwa says, I haven't been on my periods. Oh, that's already a red light. And I went to the doctor and he told me it's thrush and that I must use a vaginal cream. Is there something to be worried about? Is it a hormone imbalance? I'm already worried on your behalf because the doctor said that to you. What
These
is you
doctors,
what
hey,
but what oh gosh. Okay, give
these
your opinion.
doctors, hey,
Mm.
I'll tell you my experience. After 6 months, or at that time it was about 4 months of not having my period, I went to my doctor and he just said, "Don't worry, I'll give you these tablets." And they were hormone tablets. And he said it's probably a hormone imbalance. He gives me these tablets, right? That were going to push my period. I gained more weight. I
Oh my
got
God.
really puffed up, and I was crying all the time. I literally looked pregnant and bloated. So doctors are a bit, but yes, that is a sign of a hormonal imbalance. If you can get in touch with me, I run a program which is to fix your period. It's called the Repair My Period program. I
Oh,
can
nice.
help you with that, natural ways and supplements that you can be taking to help with your period.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, that is so wonderful. Vuisongenya is saying, I'm currently grieving, and I find that most of the stuff you have described, I can tick yes. Is this something that will pass or could be an indicative of a hormonal imbalance? Yeah, I think do help there, how does she navigate and how does she make sure that um it's not necessarily hormonal imbalance, but the phase that she's going through.
Now, if you're grieving, it's only natural that you are not yourself, and you're going through the most.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And grief is a long process, and we all grieve differently. If you can get in touch with me, I can actually put you through to one of my colleagues who is a grief. She handles coaching for people that are grieving, especially in these times where a lot of people have lost. So that's her area of expertise. So
Okay.
before I can step in, I suggest that you reach out to her. And she will be hosting a support group every Wednesday. I think the first consultation is free, so she'll be able, if you speak to her first, she'll be able to see if this goes deeper to hormonal imbalances, where she can refer
Okay.
back to me.
I
So
love
please
that.
get
I
in
love
touch
that.
with me, and I can put you in touch with her. She's amazing. She's my rock. I trust her, and I highly recommend her. So please do get in touch so I can send you her way.
Fantastic. There, she's agreeing. She's heard you. She said she will do so. Um, the Dumi also asked about the retreat. How often are the retreats held, and when is the next one?
The next retreat, I'm super excited. The next retreat, in terms of hormone wellness, will be in Joburg in June. So that is
Oh,
coming
nice.
to Joburg in June. We're still finalizing the packages in terms of understanding what the venue is offering and how we can work with them. But so far, we are working on their availability because we want to make it private to get the whole place. It's very what do I call it? It's a very intimate thing. So they have 10 rooms available. So it is limited availability because we want to keep it intimate. But if you want to come with somebody else who you're going to share a room with, that's
The
fine.
room
That is also great. You just let us know in advance so that we can put you in the same room.
together.
Yes.
So
So that will
pricing
be in
wise?
June. Pricing wise, the venue has to get back to us. They're the ones that are holding us back because we need to
Okay.
liaise with them to make sure that they're including. So the price usually includes all the sessions with me, as well as all your meals throughout, as well as any sessions in terms of depending on whether they will allow us to bring in a mobile spa to come into the
Okay.
property to be handling in terms of spa treatments as well, because you have to be pampered. But that will be
Nice.
communicated as well. So I will give you the link to the group, the 5-day hormone reset challenge group, where we'll be
Okay.
communicating information about the retreats as well.
Fantastic. Of course, I think you've already answered. Baki Mekwa is asking, how do I get in touch with you? What's your one platform where people can get a hold of you? Tatenda's network is giving her problems. And I'm not sure if she's even able to hear me. And there it has dropped her off. I will capture the questions and get back to you. Entle Mpo, I can see your questions. As soon as she's able to join us again, I will ask her the questions. Good evening and welcome to everyone else that has joined late. You are going to want to go back to this conversation and hear some of the things that Tatenda was talking about. She mentioned 8 hormones that we need to be aware of. Yeah, she's gone. I think it's her network that let her down because it gave me that disconnection error before it cut her off. I'm gonna try see if she's able to join again because we are left with 10 minutes before this conversation concludes. Let me see. I'll give her 2 minutes just to see if she's able to join us again. But I think it's important to follow up with her. Her company is called Perfect Symphony, and let me see the other one. The other one is called Sokomnandi. So, and she is on Facebook and on Instagram. I think it will be important to follow up on her. I like what she's offering, and we will be working with her as well to invite her to some of the things that we will be doing, especially the photo shoot in August, and some of the monthly events I will be hosting. I'm not, yeah. It looks like she's struggling. I cannot get a hold of her. In the meantime, let me take this opportunity and invite all of you that are joined on the call. On the 18th of April, we will be hosting a launch of the Redefining Beauty movement. This is the official launch because, believe it or not, I have never really hosted a live launch event for the organization. It has always just been annual events, and the first one and the birthing event was the August photo shoot. And I've just been doing that every month. But at the moment, the movement has grown. There's a lot more people who are members. We've got a private Facebook group that is about close to 1,500 members. There's engagements that are happening daily, weekly, and monthly. And so therefore, there's now a need to host live sessions or live events. So that is why I'm doing the launch. The launch is on the 18th of August, or 18th of April in Kibla Park. If you are able to come join us, please come join us. It'll be from 1:30 to probably 5 p.m. I will be talking about what the movement is about, what are we doing, which events are coming up. I will also be launching something that I call Self-Love Sundays, which will be our monthly networking sessions or networking branches where we can invite different people and learn a lot. The online, people are fatigued with online and some people want to meet. So these events are going to be very exclusive. We're going to keep the numbers very low so that the engagement is much more impactful, and each person is able to be heard and to be helped, and we can uh, better be helped. Intimate session. I love intimate sessions. Um, so that's what's happening. 18th of April and every month from the second of May, we will be hosting that. Then, of course, the one event, the highlight of my year every year, is hosting the Redefining Beauty campaign. The photo shoot is happening in August. The 28th of August is what we will be doing. It's going to be an amazing one. It's going to be a full day. It's going to be from 9 to 6. This year, there's going to be a panel discussion. There's going to be a guest speaker that's going to be talking to us about self-love. I think Tatenda is perfect to come join us because what she's offering and what she's talking about is very important. We can't always focus on beauty externally. We need to be focusing on beauty internally, physical beauty, external beauty, as well as our body image and how we view ourselves. I see that she's here again, and we literally have a few minutes and then she'll take on the questions. Yay! Wow, what happened there?
It looks like technology is really not my friend today.
But we are getting it. Don't worry about it. I was able to just carry the conversation. Let's quickly move through the questions because we literally have very few minutes left, and we've got 3 important questions that the ladies have asked. I'll start with the first one that Entle Mpokekana asked. She said, after being sick for a while from fibroids and cysts, I've been bleeding for a year non-stop. And then she was asking, can one suffer from hormone imbalance as the body would be trying to figure itself out?
Yes, yes, because of the medication that she may have been prescribed, as well as the trauma and the stress that your body is going through. Because cysts and fibroids, they are also technically as a result of some imbalances in your body, and what happens is when they're removed, certain things also happen in your body that create that imbalance, which may also be a result of why you're bleeding for a year. Again, I'm not sure if you've been diagnosed with PCOS, or if you have been diagnosed with PCOS, then one of the things that you may need to do is to also hop on my course, which is Thriving with PCOS, or if you prefer, the Repair My Period course. But that is something that we can get on a call, schedule a call, and then we can talk about that and see which way would be best for you going forward.
Nice one. Yeah, I will send her your details as well so that it's easier for people to get in touch with you. Dumi was asking, what other natural remedies would you recommend over and above changing one's diet?
It really is all in your diet. What I recommend really is all in your diet. But what I suggest is one of the things you need to join in um, on and starting to implement things that you can start to implement now is taking magnesium. Magnesium is great
Okay.
at hormones. Also, your gut health is very important. So, if you can take things like probiotics, which
Mm-hmm.
are at least 15, at least 5 billion CFU. So, if you go to your pharmacist and ask for a really good probiotic, or Wellness Warehouse is really good, that's where I get mine. So, get on a probiotic, get some magnesium, and
Mm-hmm.
also another lots of vitamin D. Vitamin D
D.
is great. You can get it the natural way, just going for in the morning. And also, when I talk about exercise, I'm not saying go start running 10 kilometers now or start pumping weights. No, because that also is also a stress to your body. If you're trying to balance your hormones, doing things that are too hectic and too stressful won't necessarily help. It can go against what you're trying to do. You might lose the weight and all that, but your hormones might still be crazy. So I recommend
Right?
things like walking. Walk your 5,000 steps, walk your 10,000 steps. It's gentle. If you can go swimming because that is gentle on your body. If you can do yoga, if you can do Pilates, things that are gentle on your body, it will help with that relaxation, and yet you are still getting the results of being active.
Fantastic. Diet is important. Exercise is important. That for anyone that couldn't quite hear you, the top three things that you've recommended is probiotic, magnesium, and vitamin D.
Hmm. Yes, very important.
I've noted that up for myself. Okay. We've got 5 minutes. Let me just see if there's anybody that has asked an important question and we can cover that. Okay, Dumi's just saying thank you very much. I wanted you to also talk about you spoke about something very important, and you've mentioned to me before that a lot of ladies suffer from PCOS. So maybe let's just talk briefly about that before my last question, before we end the conversation. What is PCOS, and what information do we need to know, and how do we navigate if someone self-diagnoses or is diagnosed with PCOS?
The first step is to be diagnosed by a medical practitioner so that you're absolutely certain that what you're dealing with is PCOS, because a lot of symptoms tend to overlap with a whole lot of other things. So once you've been diagnosed, the best
Mm-hmm.
thing that you can do as somebody that is struggling with PCOS, we highly recommend getting on magnesium.
Okay.
And also getting lots of rest is very important. Also, if you're having irregular periods and very painful periods, managing your diet is the most important thing, because what is happening is you are having endocrine disruptors that are setting your whole world on fire. And
Mm.
so the most important thing really is, I cannot stress enough how
I can
important
hear.
our food is and what we are consuming.
Yeah, health is wealth and food is health. I've heard this before many, many times. There's a good friend of mine, Dr. Tsidi Gule. She always speaks about how we can alleviate a lot of things and how we can get ourselves back on track, health-wise, just by focusing on what we are eating. Um, let's get to the two questions before we close. What can I replace coffee with? Any recommendations, please?
Go decaf. I mean, if it's the taste of coffee that you really like, then go decaf. And you don't have to eliminate it entirely. One or
Mm-hmm.
two cups a day is fine. And
Okay.
another trick that somebody told me is that they put coconut oil in their coffee, which I find very interesting. I'm not a fan of coffee myself, but I wonder how it would taste if you've got your coconut oil with the actual taste. If it would be a nice flavor. But apparently, just
It,
a few drops of that in your coffee is quite good.
well, I can tell you, I do put coconut oil in my coffee. It does not necessarily alter the change. It's just for
Ah,
health that I do that. It does not yeah, it doesn't change because I don't go for flavored anything. It's unfragranced. It's just organic. It's got no taste. It's just oil in coffee that just makes it nice, and I feel like I'm being healthy.
Oh, you actually are.
Yeah, Vuiswa, let's take this one question. I've been told that vitamin B complex 100 helps with insomnia. Is that true?
Yes, it is true. Vitamin B complex is quite good. But another supplement that is really good in terms of helping insomnia is magnesium citrate, and this also helps with your gut if you're irregular. If your bowel movement is irregular, then that
Mm-hmm.
is just it is the best. I swear by it. It really helps, and you find that you sleep better. So a combination of the two would be really good.
Okay, fantastic. Keto vibes. What's keto vibes to me is that the keto diet. Do you know about the keto diet? Anyway, let's not get into that. I want us to close the call because we have officially finished. Um, my last question just to you is, I mean, what's your one message as someone that is a life coach, someone that is a sexual health promoter and a hormone wellness expert because you are certified in the field. What's your one message for women?
My one message for women is that you need to be kind to yourself. We are faced with so many pressures and so many stresses, and we wear so many hats as women that we find that we are so unkind to ourselves, and it filters into so
Mm,
many aspects of our life. If you're not kind to yourself and you're not getting enough rest, you're not, you're not sleeping well, and now your emotions are all over the place. You're not able to give your best. So the best thing that I suggest is to always be kind to yourself, because it also filters into your bedroom. It filters into intimacy with your partner. And all those things are things that are as a result of us being very hard on ourselves. So self-care, because you cannot pour
yep,
from an empty cup. Because if you
yep.
drain yourself so much, you're running on empty. You won't have anything to give when you're burnt out.
Fantastic. I love that, but I'm sorry, I cannot close on that. I just see that Dumi just reminded me of the question that I was asked before you joined the call. So I want you to answer it. Um, somebody was asking about yoni pearls. So, and they were asking about, let me just quickly, because it's the very first question that she had asked, and my I will add on to that and say yoni pearls and yoni steaming and all these things that people are sort of prescribing these days, and they are not really prescribed by a medical doctor. Are those good? Do those help? Do those affect our hormonal imbalance?
Now, interesting enough is that all these things, they are not regulated by government um, or any government body or medical
Mm-hmm.
bodies. But you'll find that in places like in Indonesia, things like yoni steaming
Mm-hmm.
it's a ritual, and it's all part of self love and embodying yourself. Um, I personally cannot say that it is good or it is bad. But when we speak about the pH of when you speak about our pH, our natural pH, anything that you put up there is quite concerning. So it is at your own discretion. But personally, I do not advocate for things. I've seen a lot about yoni pearls and all that. I cannot say that I advocate for it for myself personally because of what I have learned, which is that you do not want to alter your natural pH system.
Yeah.
Yoni steaming, I have actually tried it before. It's very relaxing, and I did find that my cramps were not as bad. And
Mm-hmm.
all this was while I was trying to fix myself, hey? Yeah, and I did notice that my cramps, became a lot better. They weren't as bad, and it wasn't very invasive. And I can't say that I got thrush or anything afterwards, but it's something that I've done once. I think I did a series of 3 sessions, and after that I didn't do it again because it wasn't easily accessible to me. But it did help with my cramps. But that was me. I don't know about anybody else. But in terms of yoni pearls, for me, I don't advocate for it because altering your natural pH levels can prove to be harmful. So
Okay.
that's something that we have to be very careful about because you don't know the herbs that are being put in there. You don't know the things that are being put in there if they are okay with your natural pH system.
Good, good, good. I saw a question that's coming up. 3 people have already said. So, in closing, just tell us. Oh, they were asking about which magnesium you were recommending.
Magnesium citrate. Let me just
Citrate.
grab it. Please. Let me just grab the one
No,
for
no, no.
magnesium.
It's fine. We can do this differently, because we've run out of time. Okay, if it's close, you can show it. Then it's fine.
Let me see.
Magnesium citrate. Okay.
Yeah. That is what
Fantastic.
I.
We've run out of time. I've
Okay.
enjoyed this conversation. I think we definitely need to have it again. There's a lot that we did not cover. Your network was not the greatest, especially towards the end. So we're gonna need to do this conversation again. And there's a lot we need to cover. There's the aspect, there's the intimacy aspect that we didn't even tap into. And I know you
Yeah.
do that. You incorporate it in your retreats and sort of all of that. But for now, let's end it on that note and pick up this conversation again, differently. I will be inviting you for other things because what we've discussed here is very important and it needs to reach as many women as possible. Anyway, good night, and thank you for your time, and to everybody that had
Thank you
joined.
so much.
Okay. You're welcome. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining. For those that have joined late, please, please, please catch up on this conversation. This conversation was very informative and very important. Today we were talking about hormone wellness, and my expert is a certified practitioner in the wellness space, and what she had to offer is very important for our health. My name is Kamo Magabane. This is the Redefining Beauty platform. I am here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. talking to different women about different things. I've certainly enjoyed this. We are definitely going to have Tatenda come again because there's a lot of things that we didn't cover. Good night and God bless.
Good night, everyone, and thank you again for having me.